At the Bellator Rizin crossover event in Japan, former Bellator bantamweight champion Juan Archuleta made a splash with one of the most electrifying entrances in MMA history. So, how good were his costume and entrance? Also, Brendan Schaub has highlighted the key issue with the Bellator Rizin crossover event in Japan. What do you think was the issue with the event? Keep watching for more information on all these in this video. Starting us off, Bellator completes a clean sweep over Rizin in the highly anticipated cross-promotional MMA event. With their impressive victory over Rizin at Rizin 40 in their eagerly awaited cross-promotional MMA event, Bellator closed the year 2022 on a high note. The event, which took place in the Saitama Super Arena, featured elite fighters from both promotions. There were 5 cross-promotional fights, and each of them went a distance. President Scott Coker of the promotion was overjoyed with the outcome since he now had bragging rights against Rizin president Nobuyuki Sakakibara in terms of whose promotion was greater. AJ McKee, a former featherweight champion, defeated lightweight champion Roberto Satoshi D'Souza by a majority decision to clinch a clean sweep for his organization. Patricio Pitbull Freire, the reigning featherweight champion, also won the champion versus champion match by majority decision over Rizin featherweight champion Kleiber Koke Herbst. Kyoji Horiguchi won a unanimous decision over Hiromasa Ogikubo. Juan Archuleta won a split decision over Sukol Chim, and Gadzi Rabanadov won a unanimous decision over Koji Takeda. Coker complimented Rizin and every one of his fighters for working together to put on a thrilling cross-promotion event for the audience. Bellator has great plans for 2023, so they'll want to maintain their winning streak over Rizin into the new year. The promotion will premiere on CBS on February 4th, with Ryan Bader defeating the heavyweight championship against Fedor Emelianenko. The two will square off in a rematch of their 2019 fight, which saw Bader knock out the last Emperor in the first round to win the heavyweight Grand Prix. The bantamweight Grand Prix will also be completed in 2023. Raufeon Stotts defends his interim bantamweight championship against Patchy Mix in the finals, which also marks the commencement of the lightweight Grand Prix. It will be fascinating to see whether Rizin 40 will serve as a springboard for other MMA events that want to cross-promote with other significant promoters. The occasion demonstrated that champions need not square off in every battle and that cross-promotion may be effective. Next, Juan Archuleta takes a split decision against Sukol Kim at Bellator MMA vs Rizin. On New Year's Eve at the Saitama Super Arena in Saitama, Japan, former Bellator bantamweight champion Juan Archuleta faced off against Sukol Kim in a special Bellator MMA vs Rizin FF co-promotional event. The fight between Archuleta and Kim was the second fight in the main event. With a majority decision victory against Koji Takeda, Bellator lightweight Gadzi Rabanadov got the American promotion off to a winning start. Kim posed a stiff challenge to the Spaniard. In the on-ground confrontations, he made clear his striking prowess and looked to outperform Kim. Bellator led the main card 2-0 as the judges, in a split decision, awarded Archuleta the victory. Archuleta got a fast start in round 1, looking to score a huge shot right away. Kim saw an opportunity to lock in a standing guillotine submission and seized it to get away from Archuleta on his feet. After a lengthy struggle, Archuleta withstood Kim's choke as they brought it to the ground. He stayed in command and on top while Kim was on his back at the end of the round. Once they were back to standing, Archuleta sneaked in a vicious leg kick. Archuleta continued to slice away at Kim's legs and feet in the following round. They locked up, and Archuleta threw some slicing elbows. The battle was taken to the ground. Archuleta maintained the top position throughout the grappling matches, giving the impression that he had the advantage. They get back up, and Kim successfully executes a powerful leg kick of his own. Archuleta applied pressure for the third round's final exchange. He attempted a flurry of blows. Kim chose to struggle rather than engage in the debate. Before the referee stepped in and helped them back up, he momentarily climbed on top of Archuleta. Archuleta began working on the feet as Kim sought an opening to lock his chokes. The victory was taken by split decision by the former Bellator bantamweight champion Archuleta, and his record improved to 27-4. Kim's record dropped to 18-7-1. Next, AJ McKee caps Bellator's sweep of Rizin on the cross-promotion card. When AJ McKee entered the ring on Saturday night, he felt some pressure. It wasn't only the weight of the black samurai outfit he wore for his grandiose exit though. By defeating Japan's Rizin, McKee's Bellator promotion would triumph. McKee has never been knocked out in a fight. The last time he competed in a ring bout rather than a typical MMA cage, he lost via knockout. Then there was the fact that in 2012 on New Year's Eve in Japan, Antonio, his father and coach, lost his sole bout. bout. In the lightweight main event of Rizin 40 at Saitama Super Arena outside of Tokyo, Miki overcame all that possible terrible luck by defeating Roberto Satoshi de Souza by unanimous decision. Bellator beat Rizin 5-0 in a friendly co-promotion competition, taking all of the main card bouts. Miki told ESPN that it was atonement not just for himself but also for his father. Miki caused additional damage throughout the fight with his strong combinations with his feet and a few brutal smashes. When de Souza was on the floor, Miki made repeated attempts to use the unusual rules of Rizin, including kicks and knees to the head that would have been outside of the unified rules of MMA. On the mat, Miki was in some awkward situations thanks to de Souza, a master of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He had Miki's back for approximately 2 minutes in the second round, but Miki was able to escape. De Souza had Miki's back in the third round, with Miki standing up. Miki attempted to plant de Souza's head and shoulders on the canvas with a forward roll, but de Souza clung on, choking until the final bell rang. Following Friere's reclamation of the Bellator Featherweight Championship in April, Miki, with a record 21, has now won 2 consecutive. The Long Beach, California native, who's now 27 years old, was previously the $1 million Bellator Featherweight World Grand Prix champion. De Souza's 5-fight winning streak came to an end. Since 2021, when he defeated Tofik Musayev by first-round submission, the 33-year-old Brazilian-born fighter who now resides in Japan and is partly Japanese has held the title of Rizin lightweight champion. Next, Bellator vs. Rizin. Juan Archuleta had one of the best entrances in MMA history. Mixed martial arts are fantastic because they develop and expand more and more each day. Every time a new event occurs, we get to observe something fresh and new, whether it's anything exclusive to the cage or how the performances are delivered. Rizin and Bellator teamed up for a historic crossover event during the past weekend in Japan. In addition to being a deliberate attempt to pit the two organizations against one another, it was also a resounding demonstration that MMA businesses can and need to cooperate when possible. Juan Archuleta was charged with representing Bellator against Soo-Chul Kim in the second bout of the main show. The 35-year-old was happy to accept the task, even though he knew it wouldn't be the simplest. But even before the bout started, Archuleta dazzled the spectators in the arena and viewers all around the world with his entrance into the ring. With fire raging behind him, the Aztec warrior went around the stage while traditional music played him down to meet his foe. He was already wearing an intriguing outfit. Some questioned why he decided to invest so much energy, while others admired the animal warrior spirit he was able to bring with him on his journey to fight. In any case, it got people talking. Juan Archuleta was the lone fighter in the main event to win by split decision after a tense contest, enabling him to raise his hand. Bellator MMA took a 2-0 lead in the series then. His colleagues then delivered a clean sweep, giving them a 5-0 victory. The likelihood of such an outcome occurring was never in doubt, but the fact that it did highlights Bellator's power at its disposal. This type of advertising should be used more often regarding the entrance. Although some people might find it embarrassing, it undoubtedly heightens the feeling of the occasion. Finally, Brendan Schaub highlights key issues with the Bellator MMA Rizin FF event. Brendan Schaub, a former heavyweight fighter in the UFC, recently shared his thoughts on an irritating issue during the most recent Bellator vs. Rizin match. The Bellator promotion had a wonderful day on Friday. They dominated the contest, going 5-0 against Rizin stars. Bellator president Scott Coker singled out former Bellator featherweight champion AJ McKee as the promotional MVP. The event occurred on New Year's Eve in the Saitama Super Arena in Saitama, Japan. The action happened in the early morning for US viewers because of the time difference. Showtime, Bellator's customary broadcast partner, eventually showed it on tape delay. Despite the strong demand for an excessive crossover program, Bellator and Rizin's attempts received little media notice. According to Brendan Schaub of the Thick Boy podcast, there's at least one clear explanation. Viewers in the US couldn't see the live event. Schaub quickly pointed out that, despite the problematic time difference, the event's lack of marketing or live broadcast hurt it. Schaub pointed out that Bellator Rizin's problem was that it wasn't on American time. He continued by saying that there was no place to watch it streamed live. He continued by saying that people got up at 4 a.m. to see it live but couldn't. He also said he believed it was not accessible on Showtime Live. He concluded by saying that Rizin 40 also had an American fan base, and if they cared about them, they would have made it easier for people to stream the event. Schaub also discussed the likelihood that the UFC will agree to host a crossover event. He and his co-host ultimately concluded that they had no reason to support such events, given the UFC's monopoly heavily on the MMA business. More work will need to be done to reach a larger audience if programs like Bellator MMA vs. Rizin FF are to succeed to their full potential. As recommended by Schaub, an excellent place to start could be to make the live program easier to access and more well-publicized for US audiences. So that's it, guys. So, Juan Archuleta dressed as an Aztec warrior at the Bellator MMA Rizin FF event. Do you think the fights in 2023 will have a better entrance? Also, do you think the streaming issue can be resolved? Let's hear your comments in the section below. Please remember to subscribe and thank you for watching.